the head of Canada's largest grocery store chain has received a sizable pay raise. A consulting firm determined Loblaw chairman and president Galen Weston was underpaid in 2021. He was given a $1.2 million raise, bringing his total compensation from the grocer and George Weston Limited to nearly $11.8 million in 2022. The Weston family owns control of the company, and Galen Weston is the largest shareholder. Now, this comes as Canadian grocery stores face scrutiny over rising food inflation costs. Now, we received a statement that is, from Loblaw, and it reads in part, "This is not a unique pat on the back or a reflection of a moment in time. Loblaw's compensation review for senior executives is a standard and routine process undertaken every 2 years and overseen by the company's board of directors. Likewise, our bonus program is established to reward company and personal performance and is not unique to executives. This year, 40,000 Loblaw colleagues received a bonus." And for more on this story, we are joined tonight by Sylvain Charlebois, the director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University. Thank you for your time, Sylvain. So I want to get your initial reaction to this pay bump for Mr. Weston here, noting, too, that when you take a look at the slow increase that we've seen from the beginning, roughly around the pandemic, and then, of course, to recent times where, given the state of grocery store prices right now across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. So first question, is he underpaid? He is, actually. When you look at other CEOs in other sectors, again, Weston was actually underpaid. And when you look at the company's performance of the last 3-4 years, that increase is actually warranted. However, he's a grocer. He's selling food,
sure,
a necessity of life. That's the difference between being a grocer and a bank. And that's why when people hear about that pay bump, they'll think about two things. One, food prices, who's paying for that bump? And two, what's going to happen to the clerk I know when I go to the grocery store? And these people are often underpaid.
Absolutely. I mean, you take a look, when you use the word underpaid and it comes to the grocery sector, I don't think the first person people would come to mind is the CEO. And so when you take a look at these numbers here, when you say in comparison, I guess, is this on par for, other grocery companies across the country and their CEOs and the numbers that they're being paid?
Absolutely. I think it's quite on par. However, again, when you're a grocer, when you're a board of directors, you have to read the room.
Yeah.
You have to read the room. People are suffering out there. People are having a hard time paying for their food. And so I think it would have been appropriate for the board of directors to come up with some sort of communication strategy to soften the blow, telling people, say, that the $1.2 million will go to a food bank, or will be given by Mr. Weston to a charity, or will be redistributed across managers at different stores. Something. Anything to show some sympathy towards a suffering public, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as reading the room, it doesn't seem that they were concerned about the room during this announcement.
And Loblaw, to be fair to Loblaw, Loblaw's not the only one. Other grocers are doing the same thing. And I certainly would encourage board of directors to think differently about bonuses, especially right now. And food inflation is not going to go away. We're in this for a while still. So you got to come up with some sort of communication strategy to soften the blow a little bit.
And do you predict that we'll see additional bonuses moving forward?
Well, it's actually, as Loblaw mentioned today, it's an exercise they do once a year or once every 2 years. It's not all that common, and typically you got to wait for financial results to assess performance. And like I said, Loblaw is doing quite well. Let's be honest. I mean, financially, it's doing quite well. All grocers are doing quite well. They're well-managed companies. But again, read the room. You got to do something that's appropriate and that Canadians can accept. That's really the most important thing. This is about a moral and social contract. It's not just about corporate bonuses and corporate performance.
Yeah, especially given the current climate across the country. We have to leave it there. Sylvain Charlebois, thank you for your time this evening.
No
we appreciate it.
Bye-bye.